On the news tonight, Governor Soludo calls for transformative global action to protect the environment. Anambra State government warns school principals against examination malpractice ahead of WASC. INEC denies meeting with Adamawa government officials to rig polls. Dozens die in Yemen crowd surge during Ramadan charity events. Before the news in detail, here is a special message. Governor Chukwuma Soludo has come for a total turnaround maintenance of the Anambra State economy and promotion of core Igbo values. Let us give him maximum support for the task ahead. Good evening and welcome to the evening news right here on ABS Television. I am Priska Wanko. As Anambra State joins the rest of the world to commemorate the 2023 World Earth Day, Governor Chukwuma Soludo has called for transformative actions on a global scale to protect the environment. Governor Soludo made the call during a briefing to commemorate the event in Awka. ABS Environment correspondent Blessing Uchendo takes the story from here.
The first Earth Day was celebrated on April 22, 1970, when a United States senator from Wisconsin organized a national demonstration to raise awareness about environmental issues. According to Governor Soludo, the day is meant to remind Anambra that the environment should be a priority for everyone and asked communities and markets to embark on practical actions for cleaner, greener, planned, and sustainable cities. The governor, who spoke through the Anambra State Commissioner for Environment, Engineer Felix Odimegu, said that the special event of the day would be a town hall meeting organized by the ministry with the theme Clean, Green, and Sustainable Anambra, taking ownership, a community participation approach. He said that the town hall meeting, which will start by 10 a.m. on Saturday, April 22nd, 2023, at the Professor Dora Akunyele Women Development Center, Awka, would be attended by stakeholders such as traditional rulers, market leaders, church prelates, members of the academia, transport unions, landlord associations, among others. Engineer Odimegu said that Governor Soludo, who will be the special guest on the occasion, is expected to deliver new vistas on the clean, green, and sustainable vision of Anambra State. Commissioner Odimegu emphasized the need for everyone residing in the state to see the ongoing campaign as a collective responsibility and regretted that the state is continuously losing land to erosion, an environmental challenge. He attributed some of the causes to harmful human practices towards the environment.
Everybody is important to understand. So there is a part each and every one ought to play in making sure that our environment becomes conserved and safe. And this is the reason why we're calling everyone who has a level of influence over others, so that they be taught by the experts. So they are given some level of knowledge to go back home and then influence the other people that are within the area. If we do our duty one by one, I think we will be getting to making our environment better and safer for all of us.
The commissioner added that the panelists that would discuss the theme of the town hall meeting will include the Managing Director of Lagos State Waste Management Authority, LOMA, Mr. Ibrahim Adejuwon, the Dean of the Faculty of Environmental Sciences, Chukwuemeka Odumegwu Ojukwu University, Professor Leo Mogalo, and an expert on soil science and water conservation from Nnamdi Azikiwe University, Awka, Professor Peter Nnabude, among others. In Awka, Blessing Uchendo, ABS News.
Deputy Governor of Anambra State, Dr. Onyekachukwu Ibezim, has disclosed that the Soludo-led administration will soon conclude arrangement for the commencement of sought loans to Anambra women petty traders. Deputy Governor Ibezim stated this recently during a meeting at Onitsha North Council Area Headquarters. Details on this report from here.
Who described women as the pillar of any society, said that the present administration of Professor Soludo is not oblivious of their importance in societal development. Hence, the arrangement which is aimed at helping them to improve their businesses. Deputy Governor Ibezim reminded women in the state of the need to always play their motherly roles perfectly, especially as it concerns cautioning their children and words against crime and criminality, as well as other acts that can disrupt peace and harmony in their various areas. areas and the state at large. He encouraged women in the state to support the Clean, Green and Sustainable Anambra project of the present administration by quitting obnoxious practices such as dumping waste in water channels, among other acts that can lead to flooding and environmental degradation. The deputy governor reminded the Anambra that they owe the present government of Soludo unflinching support as the administration owes them selfless service and improved living standards.
Obodo ụmụ nwaanyị ya nọrọ nsogbu dị onwego ego gọvanọ bọjetị maka nke a ọ na-aga n'iru ọ eziokwu na Chukwu na-akwụ ụgwọ ọrụ ana Chukwu si n'aka mmadụ alụ ọrụ ọkụ ya.
The Anambra State Commissioner for Education, Professor Ngozi Chumaude, has warned that school principals in the state will be held responsible for any act or omission resulting in examination malpractice during the forthcoming West African Senior School Certificate Examination for in-school candidates. Professor Ngozi Chumaude was addressing a briefing session for principals organized by the Anambra State Branch Office of the West African Examination Council, WAEC, in preparation for the 2023 examination. Commissioner Chumaude stated that following the poor performance of supervisors that resulted in the flagging off of some schools for examination malpractice, all the former supervisors that were nominated by principals in the previous administration have been replaced by new ones. The Education Commissioner noted that with the support of principals, Anambra State will reclaim her position as a center of excellence in education. The high point of the briefing held at St. John of God's Girls Secondary School, Oka, was undertaken by the principals to support all efforts by Commissioner Chumaude to eradicate examination malpractice. The Association of National Accountants of Nigeria, ANAN, has held its second session of the Mandatory Continuing Professional Development Program, MCPDP, an induction of new members in Oka, Anambra State Capital. The three-day program commenced with a road walk with members led by the Anambra State Branch Chairperson, Mrs. Nkechi Ofedu, walking through Aroma Junction areas, creating awareness for the event. Queen Anibogo has the details.
The event proper, held at the Anambra State International Convention Center, Oka, drew participants from within and outside Anambra, political appointees and the academia. In his keynote address at the opening session, the national president of ANAN, Professor Ben Osisioma, while recounting the success stories of the council since its inception, made it clear that the council members are committed to the economic transformation of Nigeria. Professor Osisioma, who said that they are resolved to secure privileged spaces for their members, added that ANAN has a lot to thank God for, even as he commended Governor Chukwuma Soludo for bringing stability to Anambra State.
We want to make it clear that ANAN members are committed to the transformation of the Nigerian economy. And when we are not there, I don't know how we are going to go beyond the limits set by people.
In his remarks, the representative of Governor Soludo, who is also his chief of staff, Mr. Ernest Ezajoyi, described Anambra State as a center of commerce and one of the Nigerian states where economic development is scattered across the state. He explained that Soludo administration has done much in terms of security, economic transformation, and human capital development aimed at getting people who will be exportable all over the world. The governor, while expressing gladness that MCPD is aimed at the continuous improvement of professionals, noted that the quality of professional accountants in the state workforce is quite encouraging and urged them to do more in whichever sector they find themselves.
Your profession as accountant will play a lot of critical roles in helping us to navigate where to make those savings and we build it back in the economy of the state.
Earlier in her welcome address, the Anambra State Branch Chairperson of ANAN, Mrs. Nkechi Ofedu, who mentioned various areas Anambra State is blessed by nature, also pointed out that the state has produced 3 national presidents of ANAN since its inception, even as she recounted the activities and achievements of the council in the state. She appreciated the members for their overwhelming support and their commitment to the council through prompt payment of their dues, and as well wished all the participants fruitful deliberations during their stay. The chairman MCPD committee, Chief Tinato Anyanwu, said the MCPD is a mandatory professional program aimed at equipping accountants with what is happening in the accounting world, and it is done 6 times a year across the 6 geopolitical zones of Nigeria. Others who spoke during the event include Mr. Kayode Olusola, Dr. Osho Ejedawa, Mrs. Geraldine Mbadike, Mr. Kelvin Amasiaba, and others. The event, which has its theme as Changes and Advances in Public Sector Accounting, featured the induction of new members, an award presentation, a presentation of a souvenir to the Governor Soludo, and a cultural dance among side attractions.
The Ozo Traditional Institution of Amobia, Oka South Local Government Area, has reaffirmed Chief Godi Arono as the President General of the community. They made this known during a press briefing which was held in the community. Our correspondent Chibuzo Okoye completes the reports.
Addressing members of the press, the spring head of Ozo Amobia Traditional Institution, Chief Dan Madoka, called on Governor Chuma Soludo and all the security agencies to intervene in the matter before the whole community is thrown into crisis. Chief Madoka noted that the purported removal of the President General of the community by Mr. Emeka Madoka and his cohorts was a cue to destabilize Oka Capital Territory and the good works of Governor Soludo, saying that land grabbers who invaded Agu Amobia without approval from any authority cannot speak for Amobia. The head of Ozo Amobia claimed that Mr. Emeka Madoka is not Osojeze Amobia, as the person who could have crowned him died 6 hours before the event on the said day. The spring head maintained that Mr. Emeka Madoka can no longer function as an Ozo tattoo holder and Nzengene village, since according to them, he has yet to settle a fine of 11 million naira as sanction placed on him.
The purported removal of the PG, Engineer Godi Arono, was not an impeachment, but a coup to destabilize Oka Capital Territory and the good dividend of democracy being projected by His Excellency, the Governor of Anambra State, Professor Charles C. Soludo.
Calling on all the relevant security agencies to come and intervene in the current crisis in the community, the legal advisor to Amobia Ozo Traditional Institution, Barrister Nelson Uzebo, said that what they want is for peace to return to their community, as the current crisis, if not checked, will destabilize Amobia. From Amobia in Oka South Local Government Area, this is Chibuzo Okoye for ABS News.
Independent National Electoral Commission has announced the reports that its officials deployed to supervise the Adamawa State Governorship rerun paid a nocturnal visit to the State Government House ostensibly to rig the polls for incumbent Governor Amadu Finichiri. INEC National Commissioner and Chairman of its Information and Voter Education Committee, Festus Okoye, made the denial in a statement on Thursday. He said the attention of the Commission has been drawn to a press statement by a candidate in the recently concluded Adamawa State governorship election, in which officials deployed for legitimate duty in the state were alleged to have undermined the electoral process after a discreet nocturnal visit to the government house and ostensibly met with one of the candidates in the election, who gave them a list of collation and returning officers deployed for the election. Mr. Okoye said ordinarily the Commission does not join issues with partisan actors, particularly where no evidence has been provided. But to set the record straight, no such visit or meeting took place, let alone the compilation of any purported list of collation and returning officers. At least 78 people have been killed in a crash at a school in Yemen's capital, Sana'a, just days before the Eid al-Fitr festival, according to Houthi officials and the media. The crash happened late on Wednesday as hundreds of people crowded into a school in the Bab al-Yemen district of Sana'a in the hope of getting a charitable donation of about $10 that was being handed out by merchants to mark the final days of Ramadan. According to reports, the armed Houthis had fired into the air in an attempt at crowd control, apparently hitting an electrical wire, which exploded and caused panic among those waiting. The Houthi controlled Ministry of Interior spokesperson, Brigadier Abdel Khalid Al-Agri, described the incident as tragic, blaming the random distribution of funds without coordination with local authorities. The ministry said the two merchants who organized the event had been detained and an investigation was underway. The Houthis announced that it would pay some $2,000 in compensations to each family who lost a relative, while the injured would get about $400. Sports. South Africa's under-17 head coach Duncan Crowe has named Nigerian-born forward Michael Dakumo in his 23-man squad for the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations under-17. Dakumo, who plays for the Dutch club Vitesse Arnhem, was born to Nigerian parents in Kimberley, South Africa. The 17-year-old was eligible to play for Nigeria and South Africa, but has opted to represent the latter. The teenager is aligned to face the Golden Eaglets in the competition with Nigeria and South Africa drawn in the same group. Nigeria and South Africa will clash at the Hamalai Stadium, Constantine, on May 6. Remember that you can follow news and programs on ABS in many parts of the world by liking our Facebook page at ABS Radio Television. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/ABS Television Oka and on Instagram at ABS Radio TV. You can also log on to our website www.absradiotv.com. To end the news, a recap of the main points. Governor Soludo has called for transformative global action to protect the environment. Anambra State government has warned school principals against examination malpractice ahead of WASC. INEC has denied a meeting with Adamawa government officials to rig polls. Dozens have died in Yemen crowd surge during Ramadan charity events. Governor Chukwuma Soludo has gone for a total turnaround maintenance of the Anambra State economy and promotion of core Igbo values. Let us give him maximum support for the task ahead. And this is where we sign out on the evening news right here on ABS Television. Thanks for watching. I am Priska Wanko. Good evening and have a wonderful night rest.